Welcome everyone to Ask Hypnotica 27. Hope your day is going fantastically. It's my own word. Sorry, it's been once again another crazy busy week after the release of the Masculine Matrix. So many women wanted a piece of it, so I created the Feminine Force, which is releasing in a couple days because, hey, women deserve good ass stuff too, right? Right. Okay, so let's get into it, man. Here comes a letter from, it looks like I'll just read it. Okay. My name is Jonam, Jonam. Jonam. I'm 22, NLP master practitioner, and I love your work, and I found you to be massively influential in his personal development. Thank you. Now, I'm starting a business and would love nothing more to use my skills to give inner game coaching and help guys to use their minds and emotion to the full, moving on from the limitations and heartbreaks and really stepping into their role as a man. I'm a gifted coach and NLP practitioner and a budding hypnotist. And while I would do this work even without financial gain, I consider it my path. I do want to use this as an avenue to support my own life too. You and your style are a big role model to me, and the question is, what advice, insights, or pointers could you give me from your years of experience as regarding to bringing up maximum impact and massive gains to your clients? And also, how can I make the steps to reach and help the most people possible as quickly as possible, preferably within the male self-development community? I'm very dedicated to serving in this area, and rather than wing it, all I wanted to reach out, take the opportunity to thank you and contributions. Much love, Jonam from the UK. All right, let's see. There we go. Let's get that focused in on my ruggedly whatever face. All right, all right. Well, the first thing the first thing that you need to really consider, first of all, is do you enjoy doing it, which obviously you do. This is the biggest thing that a lot of guys can distract themselves on, okay? A lot of people like to help other people because it takes the distraction off of the shit that they got to get done, all right? So I really want you to, first of all, take the time and really understand, are you doing this because you're at that point where you have enough cuppeth to overfloweth to those around you, or are you doing it as a distraction because you haven't really upped your own game to the level in which you believe you can be, okay? I'm just saying this because it's something to be aware of. If you're in it for the kick ass and make people feel good, you have to live your life by the example, all right? And now I live a pretty, how should we say, experimental lifestyle, okay? I'm being an original, creating my own paths, and I tend to go this way and that way and stuff to that nature. However, at the bottom line of it is the goal, is the desire to not only succeed, but to bring up those around me. And also come at it from a new paradigm, which, well, not a new paradigm, but let's just say a more obscure paradigm, and that is the win, win, win. They win, I win, we all win, okay? That's the way to look at it. And you're not going to get there if you don't go out there, and if you're really going to be original at it, you got to go out there and experiment to a degree, because then you're going to know the playing field of where most guys are coming from. You have to go out there and really test it and try it and do it and live it and be it, okay? And it's not always the easiest path. However, what I want to say is it's worth it, okay? And trust me, you're going to get knocked off a lot of times, especially when you're forging your own pathway. And the second thing is you got to educate yourself, okay? I probably study 3 hours a day, something, whether it's neuroscience, whether it's NLP, whether it's, sometimes I go extreme and I go in a completely opposite direction, marketing, okay? Marketing has a lot to do with selling yourself, and there's ideas there. So I'm consistently learning things, okay? And I'm consistently upgrading my brain. I take my whole food supplements, okay? I definitely get my exercise in, especially cardio, to help with neurogenesis, which helps your brain think faster, be faster, all right? You almost have to have a set schedule in your mind on what it is you want to do, because if you're going to be the leader, okay, you have to be the most well trained, all right? Understand that. Now let's just kind of go in here. Some of the pointers there, you have to put yourself out there, all right? A lot of people just think, oh, hey, you're Hypnotica, and here you are. You just made it here, all right? But they forget 23 years ago, okay? Like I said, this is how I got the name Hypnotica. It was just a pen name. You know, before pretty much the internet, when there was just some little-ass chat rooms with guys just wanting to get better, you know, I was out there experimenting, sharing, asking questions, getting involved, okay? And I continued to do that. And the more I did it, and the more, you know, I can't tell you, I've probably done hundreds of free seminars. Like I drive up to LA, it cost me like for $40 in gas, you know, on my own dime. And you have to put yourself out there. And the more you put yourself out there and you're consistent with that, okay, there comes that point where it's like the tipping point, where enough people hear your name and things like this that all of a sudden your name starts to become aware. Now, Hypnotica is obviously a brand, but it's a little bit different. It sets me apart, and I've been consistent throughout the whole entire thing. I can't tell you how many pickup artists and life coaches and all these kind of guys have come and gone, okay? But the true development and the true benefit is just hanging in there and getting to the point where you know the path, you can call people on their shit. Okay, when people are like, oh well, I got the, you're like, bullshit, dude, because I did it myself, and you're distracting yourself, you're bullshitting yourself. So that's why I come across, I'm very straightforward with the facts that, hey man, I've been there, so cut the bullshit. You're lying to yourself and you're trying to like pussy your way out of the situation. All right, so you got to like lead and you got to go strong. And you have to be consistent, and you have to educate yourself. If you're not educating yourself, then, hey, man, I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to be an effective person, a therapist, all right? And the more you learn, the better you're going to get, and the more humor you need. Like, if you've ever seen one of my client sessions, okay, you would absolutely probably roll laughing, because I clown dudes. And I don't clown them in a bad way, but I clown them because I don't believe in their bullshit. So I can clown them on the fact that, you know, like they're bullshitting themselves. And it's actually pretty fun. So my sessions that I have with people are actually pretty informative, okay, because I point out a lot of things that they're not aware of. However, it's done in a funny way. And when people can laugh about their problems, you free them up so that they can start to think differently. Seriousness kills the mentality and the creativity. So, you know, understand that if you think it's a serious situation that they're dealing with, okay, you're buying into their paradigm. You come at it like, are you kidding me, dude? Let's come on, let's really, all right, let's step it up. And you're able to tease them a little bit and chide them out of that and make them laugh about the situation, just how like petty it really is if they think about it. It's a really good thing. So let me just kind of go through. I'm just going to read these little last one. Okay, so your style, a big role to me. The question is, what advice or insights, pointers give you from years of experience? Okay, and you want to get out there, all right? Like these videos that I'm doing right now takes probably about 3 hours to do each one of them. But I'm putting the time in. I'm going to a worldwide global market. I'm putting my stuff out there because A, I believe in it. B, I think there's a lot of men that need a very masculine, no bullshit type of view on this situation. So, sit down in front of the camera. And trust me, sitting down in front of a camera took me a lot of times. My first take when I tried doing this literally took me 100 times, and I was pissed. All right, because I would be like trying to like formulate it and get it perfect, and all of a sudden I'd be like, I'm nailing it, and this dog would start barking, or someone would be like, hey, are you filming out there? Or someone would drive by and honk. So I got very passionately like frustrated. All right, and so it was hard, but I kept on doing it. And pretty soon, it was, like I said, man, if you haven't done this, like I'm just talking to a robot, really. It's kind of tough to just kind of let loose and just relax into it. So you got to get good at that. If you're going to put yourself out there, you got to market yourself. You got to market your ideas. You got to market your philosophy. And you don't do that sitting back doing nothing, okay? A lot of people are like, oh, well, you're marketing yourself, or you're putting yourself out there as an expert. Fuck yeah, you are. Ain't nobody going to come around and toot your own horn. Let me tell you that. Captain, save a fucking life coach is not around the corner. It's funny because I had actually a session today and I was talking, and one of my favorite books, the first one I ever read to really get on this path of positive thinking, was The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And if you've read that book, which I highly recommend, there's a mentor there called Socrates. All right. And it was so funny because growing up when I was younger, I was 21, I was trying to find my way. I didn't really know what the hell was going on. I'm, going through these different worlds of who I was, and, what I could be. And I remember I was out there like looking for my mentor. I was like, okay, where's my mentor? Like, where's he going to appear? You know what? He never appeared. All right. Now I've had coaches here and there that I've learned from, but like a mentor never appeared. And then it's weird because it's kind of paradoxical that now I'm that mentor, that Socrates to others. I'm like, hey, what happened to me? I got my turn skipped. But it's that much more powerful if you just step up and you do it and you move forward with it. I remember one situation. Okay, this is how searching for I was. I remember I was going to the controversial bookstore. If you read about it in my book Metahor, that's where I used to go and get all my NLP books. And I remember I was thinking like, okay, there's got to be this guy who's going to step up and want to be my teacher and things like this. And I remember there was this Rastafarian guy, and he was sitting out on the bench. And I'm thinking, okay, Rastafarian, kind of cool. Maybe got a good connection with God, has some philosophies. And so I'm like, I'm just going to go like sit next to him. Maybe we can strike up a conversation, and he's going to impart some words of wisdom. So I sat right next to him, and he looked at me like, hey man, why don't you fucking scoot the fuck away? Okay, I learned my lesson. Okay, don't expect shit from anyone. Okay, it's nice when it happens, but if you're gonna carve your way, you're gonna have to do it. So start small. Put a YouTube video out there. Talk about something. I mean, the Ask Hypnotica is a great thing where people ask me questions. I can answer it. I sat for a long time trying to say, okay, what am I going to talk about? And there's so much shit I can talk about. I just kind of stalled in the process. So by people asking, write it down. Put it out there, talk on it, start somewhere. Okay. And like I said, if you could do some of these videos, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort. However, I'm consistently doing it. That's what I've done for 23 years, consistently doing it. That's how I got to the point where I would consider myself one of the top life coaches, work with some extremely powerful people around the world, all over the world. Okay. Why? Because I had to do the time. I put myself out there, and I've been averagely, mediocrely, kind of like consistent. Okay, I'm not like one of these guys, especially in the beginning where I was just like gung ho, this is it. I get pulled in a lot of different directions. I'm developing products. I got women. I have work. I do blogging on my Cheetah's website. I'm basically all over the place. Okay, so it's hard for me, but the consistency over time and learning, you get it. Everywhere I go, I listen to audiobooks. So when I was driving today, I was listening. I listened to a basic NLP course from another perspective because I was like, let's see if I can go in here and listen to it again and just pick up on something. You know what? I absolutely did. If I'm sitting in the sauna, I'm reading. If I'm doing my cardio, that's called my active learning. I put in a seminar a day, and I watch a seminar a day when I'm doing that. Eventually, you put the good stuff in, it starts coming out. So, and that's the belief that you have in yourself and helping other people because you have that much more knowledge to pull from. But the bottom line is you have to live the life first. All right. You have to go out there, and no, you don't have to be perfect. All right. I know lots of acupuncturists and master people and NLP, they all got issues to a degree. All right. But the point is, if you can live, say, 80 to 90% in the good and start to whittle away some of the unuseful habits, you're way better than most people. Okay. So let me just see if there's anything here. Now, one thing I want to impart on you is the self-development community for men. There's a lot of cheap men out there. Okay. And I'm not saying this, but they don't really respect the time. Like I get guys that will just say, hey, I got a question for you. And that happens a lot. Like every day there's at least 10. Okay. It takes a lot of time to answer these things. So you got to be very, time conscious of your time. And sometimes when people say, hey, got a question here, what do you think about this? I'm like, how about hello, how are you doing first? I say that a lot because I think it's just rude to just go, hey, let me just barge into your life and give me information. But the bottom line is, especially guys, if you're in the men's self-help community and stuff like this, you got to remember there's a lot of young guys that are all over the world that don't have a lot of money. So you can't even really look at it as the money. Like I said, I was telling in a seminar a couple of years ago, I had like $1.4 million of my products illegally downloaded. And that year, maybe I made 20 grand off of it. That's why I work other jobs and I do my consulting on the side because of the fact that, men in the past, okay, digital douchebagging is kind of on the up because people are finally realizing that they're not going to get the results that they do when they put the effort and invest in it. But it's one of those things like, if you're thinking that you're going to get rich at it, you're probably not. Hey, a few guys in the beginning, they got rich at it. Absolutely. Okay. But it's not that much. Okay. And it's constant marketing, constantly telling people who you are, what you do, and putting yourself out there. And sometimes, like I said, you have to do it for free, but then it comes a point when you're like, I'm not doing shit for free anymore. Okay. And that's that's the ultimate place. Cause you're like, I'm going to give you my best time, my best energy. If, you basically you pay for my services, which allow me to study more. Like if people bought stuff, I could study more, I could travel more, I could go to places where I could learn more, so I could share more. All right. When someone cuts that part of the process out, it cuts the whole system out and lessens the quality of the life for everyone. So I want you to think about this. And potentially, let's just jump to this, and potentially glean some insight on how I can pay your legacy forward my own way. Listen, man, you live your life on your point. Don't live it for me. Don't try to impress me. There's no need to impress me. There's no need to impress anyone else around you. The only person you get to impress, okay, is the creator that put you here if you believe in that. All right? Because one day, and this is something else I was talking to my client today, imagine at the end of your transitional period here on this earthly realm of existence, all right, at the end, you're going to walk up on stage, all right, and you're going to have the mediocre man there, and he's going to be on one side of the stage, and you're going to have the creator perhaps standing on the other side. And you're going to come in and you're going to look at the mediocre man, and he's going to be so proud of you if you live your life just the way everyone wants. He's going to be like, you were just like one of us, man. You know, you didn't push it. You're one of us. Give me a big hug, okay? And then you're going to look over there and you're going to look at God. He's going to be like, seriously, man? Like, I gave you this opportunity to your own unique combination that will never, ever be developed or duplicated ever, and you just went mediocre on me? Like, yeah, okay, dude, good job, okay? If you're a good guy, go upstairs, but you're not going to get to the super place, okay? But it's just one of those things. Think about that. Like, only one person, and that's you and the creator, not your wife, not your family, not anyone else. At the end, when it all comes down there, you get to look in perhaps the creator's eye, and you're either going to be like, yes, thank you, I gave you a gift back. Like, I took exactly what you gave me, the unique opportunity that I had on this earthly realm, and I kicked ass and I shared and I made the world a better place. Or you're going to be like, I just bought into what the corporations wanted to put in my head. Hey, it's up to you. So hopefully this helps with that. This is Hypnotica 27. And remember, tomorrow's Mother's Day, so be good to your mom. And if she wasn't good to you, hey, at least she gave you entrance into this world. Go be good to someone else, all right? With that, Hypnotica out. Boom.